We've been talking about all of the lies that have been told. Who believes anymore that the traditional media is telling you the truth on anything? Who believes that, the media didn't know about Joe Biden? Who believes that Joe Biden's cancer is a new subject? Now, that one's hard because that very well could be brand new. But it also, because we don't believe in so many other things, it might have been known when he was still in the White House. We don't know. But do you believe it? I'm not asking you what you know. I'm asking you what you believe. Then Kash Patel comes out, along with Dan Bongino, two very credible people on our side, on Donald Trump's handpicked inside team. And they say the Epstein suicide was a suicide. And my first response was, mm-mm. And then I immediately went, but it's coming from these guys. I believe these guys. I know these guys. And so then I started getting into critical thinking. Okay, what would it take for me to believe them? And they just have to show us what they saw, because that's a role reversal. They've switched. They said it wasn't a suicide. Now, all I need to know is, what did you see, and show it to me. Okay. Why is this important to use critical thinking? We just went through 4 of the 7 stages of, it's called the 7-stage cycle of civilizational collapse. Okay. First, the age of pioneers. That's the Revolutionary War. Then the age of conquest. That's, the expansion out west. The age of commerce. That is the 20th century, early 20th century. The age of affluence, beginning around the Reagan years, where the decay begins and it becomes about leisure and stuff. Then 5th, and this is where the last time I read this, I thought we were here and maybe a little in the 6th, maybe. The age of intellect, elite rule, and fragmentation. Experts and technocrats dominate. Reason replaces faith. Society becomes obsessed with process, bureaucracy, identity, and division. People grow disconnected from elites. Populist backlash begins. This is France pre-1789, Weimar Germany in the 1920s, and the U.S. post-2000. The values, relativism, narcissism, hyper-education with moral void. So, technocrats dominate? Yes. Reason replaces faith? Yes. Society becomes obsessed with process? Yes. Bureaucracy? Yes. Identity? Absolutely. And division? The people grow disconnected from elites? Yes. Populist backlash begins? 2016? Yes. Then you get into the 6th stage, the age of decadence, moral decline, and decline of courage. Tell me if you can't check every box on this one. I had horrible pain in my hands. I had a hard time moving them. I could barely work with them. I couldn't write or type or anything. I tried everything. Then I found Relief Factor. Relief Factor is a 100% drug-free supplement developed by doctors, and it's safe to take daily. It made a real impact for me and so many others. Try their 3-week quick start now, $19.95 at relieffactor.com. National identity collapses. Almost there. Almost. Immigration without assimilation. Yes. Public debt surges. Yes. Breads and circuses replace responsibility. Yes. Political corruption is normalized. Yes. Gender confusion. Yes. Family disintegration. Yes. Loss of fertility. Yes. The use of drugs. Yes. Hedonism dominates. Yes. That's Rome the 3rd through the 5th century. And is this us today? The values, hedonism, nihilism, and entitlement. I think yes, yes, and yes. Then you get into the last phase. Would you agree, Stu, that we've hit everything else in that?
Yeah, we're here at some degree or another where we've hit all of those.
Okay. The age of decline and collapse, disintegration. There's only two things. Number one, internal distrust, factionalism, and scapegoating. That's the first. All of that is where we are today with those stories. Internal distrust. I don't trust anything. Do you? Factionalism. Hello? MAGA. And the, anti-MAGA. You're either a racist or an anti-racist. And scapegoating. I don't know. Jake Tapper, how's your book going? I think we're there. The last thing to happen, currency collapse, loss of external power, or invasion. With Donald Trump in power, I don't think we're going to lose the external power or invasion unless our currency collapses. And our currency collapse could happen. Did you see they downgraded us yet again? Stu, you remember 2008? I'm saying in 2006, 2007, and we will lose our AAA plus status. They will downgrade us. The quote was, never, from every institution in America. Never. It will never happen. Ever, 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 ever. It will never, ever happen. Well, it happened in like 2009. Then it happened again in like 12 and 16. And they just did it again. So currency collapse is on the board. Values of this era. Despair, tribalism, and the choice between authoritarianism or anarchy. We're there. Okay, so I don't tell you this to bum you out. I tell you this because there is something you can do. That's why I started today's show with those questions. I believe this is a national emergency. And I believe Donald Trump should declare our trust in these institutions a national emergency. We must be transparent. This is why I said I want Kash and I want Dan Bongino to show the American people what changed their minds. I would love a hearing on it and not some big drawn out, hearing in Congress with a bunch of, I just want to see. I want to see the files. Because internal distrust is a choice. Because if you're saying today, I don't believe Dan Bongino and Kash Patel, which I'm stuck because I do believe them. I think I don't have enough information to go with them on this. I believe in them, but I also believe that Epstein killed himself. Sorry, my throat was killing me.
I just like the fact that you crunched the ice as you took the sip.
I believe them. I just believe also that Epstein killed himself, that he didn't hang himself with a paper sheet. Those two don't match. When something doesn't match, you have to go back and say, which one do you actually think is right? I can't because I don't have enough information. But I must do that because trust and distrust at this point is a choice. Now, let me show you where distrust leads. If you don't trust Kash Patel and Dan Bongino, then you can't trust the FBI and the DOJ and anything that they're doing there. That's pretty bad because we just have the biggest reformer of all time, a guy who said he would reform those two institutions, that he would be transparent. And he hired these two guys, and we all cheered for those two guys. So if you don't trust them, if you just immediately go, something's wrong, I don't trust them, without saying, here, I don't trust that is true, but I want to see what changed their mind, then your next step is, well, does Donald Trump know? And if he doesn't do something about them on something this egregious, they're clearly covering something up, then I got a problem with Donald Trump. Where does this end? This ends in guillotines in France. This is what happens. You betrayed the revolution. No, I didn't. That's just not true. So the good news is, this is up to you. These things can be reversed. They just haven't been, but they can be reversed. For instance, why would our currency collapse? Because we're being downgraded. Why are we being downgraded? Because we're spending too much. Why are we spending too much? Because the people in Washington won't listen to the American people. They have no courage. Back to stage 6, decline of courage. That means we need more people who have courage that will say, this is the end of the republic if we don't do certain things. So where will you stand today? Will you dedicate yourself to not changing what you believe, per se, but at least demanding critical thinking answers for good critical thinking questions? I don't believe you. Thus, I am asking you to produce and have a conversation with the American people to show us what changed your mind. Show us the facts. We must restore trust.